I appreciate the opportunity to be with you today. About 6 weeks ago, Melinda sent me this fairly cryptic text which said, can you do radiant joy? And my first thought was, is the Pope Catholic? Of course I can. So my next thought was, radiant joy, that's my middle name. I could do that all day long. But actually, as I began to think about that, I began to realize that I had never actually thought about what joy is in my entire life, ever in my entire life. Is it happiness? Is it sort of happiness? Is it separated from happiness? What is this joy thing? Is it always around? Is it event-based? Honestly, I had no idea. So immediately I knew that I had my work cut out for me to be standing up here today. And I did everything. This is an Advent, third Sunday in Advent, and I learned about Advent, and I, put this in my talk and all of these things, and learned that the concept of Advent goes all the way back to the very beginning of primitive Christianity, probably even when Jesus was walking around this world, because it began as a baptismal event for people who were newly involved with his movement, which is called the Way. And in fact, actually it was called the Way of Jesus, and that makes a lot of sense to me. So it was purely a Jewish program. He was not trying to form a new anything. But that was in my brain. That was easy for me to do. So I don't want to go any further than that, but I began to realize, like I said, that I don't really understand what joy was. But I produced this entire program and sermon for you today, which yesterday morning, early morning, I began to become aware that I was having a dream. But it was more than a dream. I have a lot of experience with being a hypnotherapist. And what was happening as I was standing over the occurrence of this dream, I was witnessing. It was an out-of-body, some kind of experience. And it was one of the most powerful experiences of my life. And I resist sharing that with you because it's very vulnerable of me to do that, but I'm going to do that as well. And it's a dream, so it's strange, but it was really enlightening to me. And what I do now know with a certainty, that love expresses through us as joy. That is what I know. Love expresses through us as joy all the time, whether we know it or not, whether we're aware of it or not, and no matter the circumstances, joy is always, always there. Makes me want to cry, so it's got to be true. So, as I was in this alternative state of consciousness, I began to see initially that I was standing on a street in a normal reality, just like we're doing right here. And it seemed real, seemed just pretty normal, but I noticed that there was this line in front of me that stretched as far as I could see on both sides and as high as I could be aware of. And I began to realize as I was looking down on all this, that this was a veil between normal reality and some kind of alternative reality. And I was being drawn to walk across that line, which I certainly did. I was called to do that, and I stepped through it, and there was no fear, there was no concern, there was no anything. I just stepped through that line. And when I did, the entire world was white. Everything I saw was white. There was nothing but white in front of me. And as I began to kind of get my bearings there, I began to realize that there were people walking on the street, and they too were white. Now, this is not a racist issue. I'm talking about white color, okay? Just white color. Everything was white. And I thought to myself, sort of outside of this situation, how can I see white people in a white background? I had no idea. But in a dream, anything is possible. It was stunning. And then it kind of morphed into me seeing these little baby white cars at an intersection. I don't want y'all to look into this brain too deep, okay? So forgive me, but it's going to get worse. So I see these little bitty cars with little bitty white people in them, and we're in a different alternative universe now, and nobody can get across the street because everybody's going, no, you first. No, it's okay. No, it's okay. No, you first. Finally, I visualize someone getting out of their car, going out to the intersection, and starts waving them by as politely as possible. And then that scene disappeared. And I go to a sidewalk, I think, sort of over on the other side of the street. And once again, I see these people walking down the street. And every now and then they would just like flop on the ground and start doing yoga exercises and yoga poses and chair poses. And I'm thinking, what have I done? And then I saw them eating kale, and there were shops full of kale all the way down the street. And I'm thinking, am I back in California or something? What is going on? This can't be happening. And then I realized they weren't people, because I realized they didn't have faces. I didn't think I'd get emotional about that. They didn't have faces, they didn't have feet, they didn't have arms, and they didn't have genders. It was a really strange moment. And I began to realize that each one of those individual people were love expressing themselves as joy. That's what I was looking at. I was called to see that. And I began to think through that and realize where I was in that moment. What was I seeing? Where was I? What was I being trained to hear here? And it was as if I was looking at seeds of life, reaching out, expressing joy, but they actually had no place to express it to. They didn't have faces, they didn't have mouths. And it was strange because everything was totally quiet. There was no traffic noise from those little white cars. There was no yelling, there was no talking, there was nothing. It was completely silent. And then it dawned on me that what I was seeing was that this was love expressing itself as joy, but no place to go. No place to go. And it wasn't sad, it was neutral. But I also began to feel this longing from these entities that I was with, a longing to be able to express themselves. And in that moment, I realized that the core of us needs a personality to express with. And these entities were longing to be with a personality. They were longing to be with us, just as we know we're longing to be with the spiritual side of us. And I had never experienced that before. It was remarkable. It was telling me that we are one and we need both parts of ourselves to be full and whole. And I love that view. So it wasn't too crazy, but it was different. Now I had prepared for this talk to use a poem from the great 14th century mystic and poet Hafiz, and it's called "The Sacred Dance for Life." And okay, that's not quite right. The Sacred Dance for Life. It should have had "Joy, the Sacred Dance for Life," which I would have told you was really clever of me to do by adding that one word.
It's understood.
Yeah, thank you. And he tells us this. I'm going to read it over here, actually. Sometimes I forget that I was created for joy. My mind is too busy, my heart is too heavy for me to remember that I have been called to dance, the sacred dance of life. And my friends, what I know that is that spiritual essence of us dancing with the human part of us all the time. And some days it's good, some days it's not. But they are never separated, and we are never separated one from the other. He goes on to say, I was created to smile, to love, to be lifted up and lift others up, but sometimes I forget. Forgetting who we are is not failure. It's human. It's perfect. It's just the way it is. And we will remember again because it is intrinsically a part of us, who we are. But Hafiz prays with us when he says, O Sacred One, untangle my feet from all that ensnares. And when I saw that, I thought back to my talk a month or so ago about the Wizard of Oz. And if you remember, I mentioned to everybody that every character in the Wizard of Oz is an aspect of us. Every single character is an aspect of us. The Scarecrow didn't think he had a brain, didn't think he was smart enough or good enough. And I was trained that way myself. I get that totally. That's something that tangles our feet when we're trained to be something we're not. And we always must strive to move beyond those entanglements of our lives because they do ensnare this. They do make us somehow believe that we're not this beautiful child of God that we truly, truly are. Then he goes on to say, free my soul that we might dance and that our dancing might be contagious. I really, really love that because love is contagious. Laughter is contagious. Hugging someone is contagious. I love that part of it. Now, early on, somebody here read a reading, probably me. And if you remember the Sufi man who walked into the cave with a lantern, that means he's looking for truth, searching for truth. And no matter how muddy the waters are, no matter how much we have to tromp through the mud, if we always search for truth, we will eventually get to the clear water at the source of all that is. And that's what he found. Now, if you think about that right now with me, I want to ask you to reach down there with both hands in your mind's eye and grab hold of some of that clear water from the source of all that is. And I want you to allow yourself to see you drink of that and feel it and feel the temperature of it and the pureness of it and the life-giving essence of water. My friends, this is the taste of joy. This is what joy tastes like. Now, there are times in our lives, I think, when we're in the presence of something greater than ourselves. It doesn't happen very often. It's rare. But when it is, it emerges around us as pure light and pure love. And when that happens, something happens within us. Our hearts begin to swell, maybe like the Grinch when he got better, but our hearts begin to swell and we have this glow within us. It's a warmth, it's a perfection, it's a feeling beyond anything you can imagine. This is the feeling of joy. It's within us at all times, even when we are fully not aware of it at all, even when we're totally not aware of it. And then something happened really just a few days ago that I would like to share. It was one of the cold mornings, and my wife and I, Marlene, were getting up, or I was getting up. She was snuggled under the covers because she does not like cold weather. And as I got up, I started making the bed up, because we make the bed up all the time. Well, I made the bed up whether she was in there or not. And she was totally okay. So it was just totally overhead, and she was just this little bitty lumpy thing in the bed. And then, you're going to hear my brain here, and then the scene from Shrek shows up in my brain. Yeah, I'm certifiable. The scene from Shrek shows up on my brain when he was first visited Shrek, when the donkey first visited Shrek. And he was jumping up on that big chair, and he was happy to be there. And he said, and the next morning, we're going to make waffles. Do you remember that scene? Well, I do too. So as I made the bed, I began to walk away around the bed, and I said, okay, honey, I'm going to go get dressed, and I'm going to get up and make waffles. And as I was walking away, I heard this cutest, beautiful little girl laugh under the covers. And that, my friends, is joy. Thank you. Thanks. And we are going to tag team it. Reverend Linda is going to come up and lead us in the meditation today. I love you guys. Thank you so much.
No piano.
Thank you. So there's a lot of richness there. Let's take some of those ideas into meditation. Again, let's breathe together. Breathing is something we do all the time, but we're rarely conscious of doing so. When we turn our consciousness toward the breath, we begin to understand that it is a miracle given to us daily, momently, whether or not we ask for it. No one says, do you deserve this breath? It just comes. And so as you breathe in this moment, just accept it as the miraculous gift that it is. That pure source that Rick was talking about, which, for lack of a better word, I like to call God. That pure source is breathing you. And so we simply cooperate with God breathing us. We allow it, we say yes, and we say thank you. And often our joy is as close as a deep breath. When we're aware. So breathe in and feel that wellspring of joy that is in you at all times. If you have any trouble contacting it, say to yourself, I am blessed. I am blessed with this breath. I'm blessed to be in this place with these people. I'm blessed by all the love in my life. The moment of gratitude is the moment of joy. And if there's sadness in there too, that's okay. Sadness is not the opposite of joy. There's room for both. Sometimes the most joyous joy springs up amid and among the sadness that we naturally feel as a part of life. It's all us. As you allow that joy breathe into it. Visualize that joy expanding. Like a tiny flame that catches some kindling and bursts into a large flame. Joy. Our spiritual selves are joy and yearn to express it through Spirit is joy and love and peace. And the joy in you is always longing to be expressed. So just allow that joy to take shape in your mind. How does it want to be expressed? It's in there and it is longing to come out. You can express that joy as laughter. You can express that joy as dance. And you may not think you dance, but when the music starts to play, some part of your body moves. I'm up here, I can see it. That is you participating in the dance of life. Joy comes through our voices, through song, through connection, through speaking to one another. Joy is expressed through our physical connection, through the touching of hands, through our embracing one another, even through seeing one another from across the room or from across a great distance. Joy can be expressed in our eyes. In our voices. We can be informed by joy through our ears. What is there? Not that's making you joyful, but what is there out there that is sparking that flame of joy that is already within you? Is it the music? Is it the twinkling lights? Is it the friend sitting next to you? Is it the crisp, cold air? Is it the cozy blanket that keeps you from the crisp, cold air? There are a million things that can spark our joy. Whatever it is, pay attention to that. It's not giving you your joy or creating it for you. It is allowing the joy that is you to occupy a bigger space within your humanity so that it just bursts forth. What is it that connects you to your joy? Don't be afraid to name it and claim it. Pay attention to it. And give yourself a reminder to come back to it when you feel you've lost that connection. Gratitude is always a starting point. And as you allow this joy to continue to expand inside you like a flame, know that you are lit up by it. And that light goes beyond the boundaries of your physical being. You are actually lighting up the world around you through your joy. And imagine as we all are willing to express this joy that's deep within us and we're lighting up the world around us, how these spheres of light start to overlap like big spherical Venn diagrams until there are no spaces, but only the light itself. That is our true heritage. That is our true birthright. That is our privilege to remind ourselves as we carry around these human bodies that would like to tell us that it's not so. Today we're reminded that it is so. You are joy, expressing itself in myriad ways. Say to yourself, I am joy, I am joy, I am joy. Allow it to ring through you, within you. Know it is the truth. And so it is. Amen.